Hello there guys. I feel like today's video is quite short given the amount of time I feel like I've spent on this. But I guess that's because I've been applying the same technique to many different figures, and of course I've not filmed the same thing 12 different times for you. You may remember back in October I built this World War II ruins base. And this was in preparation for these 3D printed figures here, which I'd purchased and 3D printed. The studio that creates these has some fantastic models. This isn't a sponsored video by any means. As I say, I've paid for these myself, but I really do like the products they produce. So if you have an interest in 3D printing, I do recommend you check them out. Here are the figures when I was originally planning the base and the location of everything. And essentially we've got these soldiers grouped around a piano with one guy playing it. Once the resin was cured, I gave all the figures a coat of primer and then a coat from below of XF1 black to hopefully create some kind of pre-shading on the figures. These guys are all in late war US uniform, but I didn't want to paint them all the exact same colour, so I used two main colours. This is US Field Drab, Vallejo model colour 873, and the other colour I used was Vallejo model colour US Dark Green with a number ending 893. As you can see here, I've tried to keep the paints quite thinning with water. The idea being that some of that pre-shading will still show through, and we can do multiple coats to change the opacity. And that also means that even with one green paint, for example, I'm able to obtain several different shades of green on different figures by varying the opacity. So although these paints are going on very thinly, I'm trying not to apply them like a wash. I'm not trying to get anything collecting in the recesses or anything like that. You will see on some of these figures that I haven't done a great job of cleaning up the supports, and so there are a few little nibs here and there on the figures that as I build them I slowly remove. Obviously I tried to remove as many as possible when I originally took them off the supports, but I did miss a few. Hopefully you can see there how the pre-shading shows through. This is after 2 coats, and I typically gave 3 to 4 to each figure. Once the uniforms were done, I went for the skin tones. I've moved away from Ammo MIG paints now, and I've gone to the AK Gen 3 colours for the skin tones. This is base flesh, and I will follow it up later with some highlight flesh. I think as I hopefully improve my painting technique, it would be a good idea to use an extra colour for the flesh, perhaps an additional shadow colour for the, shadow areas. And I think in many ways this is a back and forth process. So although I'm painting the belt and the webbing here of this guy, it's clear to me looking at the video, and it became clear to me in real life as well, that I haven't done a great job on his uniform, particularly the trousers. And so I did come back and give some more green to those, and to any other areas that needed attention. The US helmet should be a greeny olive drab colour, but of course they're not all going to be the same colour, so again I just use a variety of the various greens that all of us tend to have. I know some modelers stick sort of pins or something in the feet of their figures to hold them by. I don't do that, but that does risk rubbing off some of the paint with your fingers. So I think twice during this process I did give a coat of VMS matte varnish to these figures to try to protect them. Things like buttons are strange. They're so small that you think you wouldn't notice them, but even putting just the slightest speck of olive drab there does make them stand out slightly. Like so many things, from what I read, the button colours also varied, and so I did do a few in black as well. The boots were painted with a chocolate brown colour, and then while the paint was still wet, highlighted with some saddle brown. The models and the 3D printing have done a really good job at recreating the straps for the weapons, although you notice there that I have accidentally broken off the barrels on a couple of them. Once they were basically painted, I gave all the figures another coat of matte varnish and then a wash with sepia oil paint. And since I applied it as a wash, I wanted it to gather in the recesses and the details to try to add some grime and some shadows. One of the hardest things to do for me was actually the piano. I gave it this base coat of brown and then attempted to do a wood grain texture using some oil paints. I think the texture wasn't terrible, but I definitely think it's perhaps not detailed enough, not fine enough, not really in scale perhaps for something this size. So that's something for me to work on in the future. I think at the later stage of this clip here, I've got the paint just a bit too thin. I've got too much thinner on there, and therefore it's not quite recreating the grain the way I would hope. Finally, I of course want the figures to blend in with the base which I created previously. So to do that I use the same pigments, which is a European earth colour and then a dark brown colour. Although the dark brown is slightly darker than the one on the base, I figured that these uniforms would not be dirty just from this, but from previous use. And so I did try to go quite heavy on the pigments, especially on areas like the knees and things like this, which would see quite a lot of dirt. But with that done, I could superglue my figures into the base, and my World War II and my Music in World War II diorama is complete. So there we go guys, that was my painting of the US Army Music in World War II figures, which I 3D printed. This is definitely not the best ever example of figure painting, and it's not even necessarily my best ever attempt at figure painting, but I think they came out fairly decently. One of the reasons I like the figures from this studio, and the reason I'm a Patreon member of them, is because their figures are quite different. We are seeing that sometimes these days with injection moulded kits, but I feel like 3D printing often brings a lot of innovation into poses and situations. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this first video of 2026. I would like to say thank you to all of you for watching, and of course special thanks to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. I hope to see you all in a future video, and until then, have fun modelling and have a happy 2026.